Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and today I'm about to start my solo playthrough of Lifeform, including the Dragon's Domain expansion, which after all enables the solo mode in this game. I have to confess I only played it once. I had a lot of questions. Luckily a lot of questions have been asked in the forum, so I feel kind of confident. Seems to be pretty challenging actually, so don't expect me to win, even though I'm not going to roll any dice here. But yeah, let's see how things go, shall we?
Okay, and here we are. That's the setup for the solo game. Not so different from the multiplayer game. The mission tokens are more or less the same. Of course, there is no player who chooses some extra tokens here, like those power outages. Those are really come onto the board after a structured rule. There's no randomization to that. We also don't have the harpoon tokens here in the solo play. There are on some of the cards, but we don't have the tokens. The cocoon track is works a little bit differently, and I think I will not explain what the differences are between the solo and the multiplayer version of the game. Of course, I will explain all the rules as I go, but let's not waste too much time on really explaining you the core differences in here. Yeah, we are only playing one single character. And as we are not using any special abilities whatsoever, I decided to go with this Kurt Russell dude. He's available, I have to go to him. Use the two-player side, but then you put in this, control board on top of this over all the special abilities, which are usually on the bottom of this card. In this game, we are not Kurt Russell, we are Michael Mitch Scott. We are the navigation officer, heavily armed one, I might add. And yeah, basically our goal is to complete those three objectives here. Not just all, but that's definitely something also different to the normal mode of the game. We have to rescue the ship's cat. How nice is that? We usually find it on A deck. We have to download incriminating corporate Xena data. Yeah, makes sense thematically. And we have to uncouple shuttle Umbilicus in order to basically get off the ship, which is now the ISMV Valley Forge, a commercial mining vessel. Yes, this game is really loaded with references to Alien and aliens. I think this game really focuses more on Alien, not so much aliens. So really you're sneaking around, you really try to make your way from the ship. You're pretty much surviving the attack. There is no way killing the creature. We even have an android on board. Right now he's not yet on the board. He's deactivated of some sort. There will be various events in some of those decks which will or can activate the android, and then he's really out for trouble. So definitely something that we want to avoid this guy. He's working for the corporation. Yeah, you know the movie, I guess. Apart from those objectives, we also have to prep the so-called remora. So we need the improvised weaponry. We have to place mission token on top of them. We have coolant. We have to place it, basically fill it up all the way up here in the solo experience. We need energy cells pretty much up to here, so 5 of those. And we need spacesuits, pretty much 1, because we are only 1 sole crew member. Every access we are collecting, never a bad thing, nothing is lost, can give us some extra stuff. So for example, we can move power outage tokens, we can draw cards, we get the flamethrower, and we also get to draw extra cards if we have to have a showdown fight here on the remora. We can basically enter the remora and leave anytime throughout the game, as long as we have fulfilled all our objectives. So like the cat, like the data, and of course we have to prepare the ship first. But then we can basically go there and say, yeah, we are now about to launch. Then we do some checks if the Xeno Lifeform also sneaked on top of the board. Pretty nice mechanic in this game too. And if it didn't, then we are lucky, we have won the game. If the Lifeform is there, we have to go for a final fight, and then I think we are not looking so good. Actually, so this is basically the final showdown board, also something that's introduced in the solo mode here. Everything else works a little bit differently in the multiplayer version of the game, which I played quite a bit actually now in the meantime. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Everything else I will explain as I go. But maybe I should explain you how we are losing this game. The self-destruct marker is active. At the end of each round it will go down. Also different to the multiplayer version of the game. End of round we will basically lose 1 minute on this self-destruct track here. fortunately, there are other events that are also triggering this to move ahead. If we ever have to fight the creature here, basically coming closer here to the proximity alert, and we will not be able to defeat it, then one thing that we are doing is drawing one of those tokens here. Right now, that's 5 of those are still alive, so we are good. And yes, of course, I draw the kill drone out of the bag. So if we ever have to draw this and we draw one of those killed markers, we are immediately dead and have lost the game. And last but not least, there is a timer on those crisis cards here. Whenever we have to draw a card from either of those decks and we can't, then we have also lost the game as well. And I think that's really pretty much all that's needed to say about the setup and everything else. Let's get into it. We start the game here in the galley. That's this symbol here. And at the start of every round, the first thing that you're doing is collect mission tokens from the location you're in. Unfortunately, there aren't any mission tokens, so we are not allowed to get one. In the solo game, we get to draw an extra card. That's already a good thing. We start the game with 4 cards, by the way. So this is pretty much our starting hand with the card we have drawn. So we have a lot of run cards here, which is good. We have the survival ability, which is also good, helps us quite a bit. We have the swap creature here, which is not really a game mechanic, but very often a reaction we have to play to one of those crisis cards. We really won't hold on to this. And this symbol here too, the research one. So overall, not a bad hand actually. We don't have any flamethrowers, but right now we don't really need them anyway. So I think that's good. Now we have to act. So we can either equip drawing more cards, but this usually brings the creature closer to us. We can play a card. We can play our, I don't know, our little sensor here, which gets us to draw 2 extra cards. But right now we cannot do this, because we only can if the life form ever enters one of those red spaces here, so pretty much in close proximity, then we can do this. This is also the only range where we can use our flamethrower later on. But right now, yeah, the life form is pretty much far away on the standard starting. So if you want a tougher game, you can have it start here on the tough spot, and there's also the shaken one where it starts here. But I think let's start with a standard level here. Then we can use the mining laser. Right now we don't have the mining laser. We find it there on the right of the ship in the engineering section. And we can wait, but wait will always draw the creature closer to us. So I think the idea is now really moving to one of those mission tokens here. It's either this or that. With those red rooms here, which are pretty much vent spaces, there are always those kill spaces, part of the setup. So when we enter a room here, this simply goes into this cup, and yeah, definitely makes our chances, our odds much worse. So you don't want to go there too often. On the other hand, I think that's the direction to go actually. So I'd think maybe let's move here to the science lab, and I think, yeah, let's play a run card. So we play a card from our hand, and keep in mind I only played this game once, so I have no idea what I'm doing here. So those may all be terrible choices I'm doing here, but I will go for it anyway. With those action cards, there is a bottom section which is only important for the showdown later on. So those are basically your defense icons when you have to face the creatures. Right now we don't really care about that. Apart from that, for each of those cards you have to select a row of actions. Right now each row only consists of one action, but still you have to go with either that or that. This little flash icon means it's a reaction, so I cannot play it anyway as a reaction. So the only thing I can do with this card is to do a standard run action, which lets me move 1-2 spaces here to the science lab. Perfect, that's done. Nothing bad will happen here in respect to terror tokens, in respect to getting those killed markers here. But because I moved into, let's say, a standard room, I have to draw my first crisis card. And this belongs to the A deck. Right now we are still on A. So let's see what we found. Sirens are wailing, red warning lights are flashing, you jump, startle as the starship's mainframe computer addresses you over the intercom. Okay, now we get to choose one option. You always have 3 options on those cards, and you have to go with one. Of course, you have to be able to choose one option. You cannot go for an option that the requirements you cannot satisfy. So here we have switch off the distracting comlink. So we have to play this symbol here. And I think we have that actually, which means proceed. Nothing bad would happen here. We don't gain anything, but we are not getting harmed either. But we can also go for the manual override. Then we have to play this symbol here from our hand. The problem, this is much worse because we have to place one of those remora tokens and the cocoon track will move ahead. So overall, that's really a terrible option because we have 6 of those remora tokens and I had to paint them a little bit because you were able to see from the side which color they have. So 2 of those are red and the rest is green pretty much. And whenever you have to place one onto the remora, you don't check what it is, but whenever you try to escape, you flip all of those over that are on the remora and one of those is red showing danger. Yes, then the creature is there. So this is really something you want to avoid. And additionally, moving the cocoon track 1 space ahead also brings another kill token into our die pool, let's put it like this. And the last spot here is a 5 attack token which we put onto remora as well. So when we have to engage this, we already have those 5 tokens to get rid of. So that's really terrible actually. And then last but not least, we have option C, which is, I believe, always hesitate. That's bad. So we will lose 1 nerf and we will move the Lifeform 2 spaces closer to us. Losing a nerf is not always as bad, so we would simply move it here. The problem is whenever we are moving into a room with one of those terror tokens and we cannot dodge it in any way, we have to place it to the leftmost empty spot here pretty much. So this may fill up, and whenever the nerf moves onto those, yes, we also lose the game. I nearly forgot that to tell you. So this is something, I don't know. And moving there, wow. Yeah, but on the other hand, do I want to get rid of things? The hesitate option is not that bad actually. I think we can afford moving the creature twice. So we will move it once and then we can either move it down here or we can basically take a detour. But then of course the self-destruct will move ahead. And I think, yeah, it's our first round. Let's do that. So we will move it here. So we just lost another minute because we hesitated on our self-destruct here. And of course, if it lands on 0, we also lost the game. The ISM Valley Forge will simply explode. Unfortunately, we also have to lose 1 nerf, which again right now is not that big of a deal. Okay, that was pretty much the very first round. One thing left to do is to move the timer once more. This card gets discarded, and keep in mind, if we ever running out of one of those parts and have to draw one, we also lose the game. So something that we don't want to see. Now we would also move into an Android step. Right now the Android is not yet on the board. Okay, that was the very first round. Let's totally do one more. And again, first thing to do is collect mission tokens. Hooray! We have found our first mission token. We have to place it immediately onto the shuttle loadout. So basically on any of those 5 tracks here. Those are optional tracks. Definitely also important, but let's really try to solve the mission first or complete the mission first. If we place one here, then we have already satisfied this first column here. On the other hand, here we need some more cards. Let's start. Yeah, let's start here because we could get to a flamethrower at some point in time. So yeah, let's place it here and then we get an extra card. Okay, that's another terror survival effect. That's a good thing. This one here is okay. You can basically move 1 or 2 characters, 1 space. The problem is we only have 1 character. In the normal multiplayer game, you usually always control 2 characters. So with this card, you can basically move both of your characters out. But in this case, I believe you can only use 1 movement here. The thing is, there's nothing left to do here on the science lab. And of course I could play one of those symbols, but I think let's move in here because in this room we can at least stay 2 turns, or there are other actions in order to claim those tokens, and we really need those tokens like crazy. So I think, yeah, let's simply play another card, and yeah, let's simply play the card we have just drawn here. So pretty much for the movement again, which says we are moving up here. Unfortunately, we have reached this, so we will put this into the cup, and yeah, Now our odds are already terrible, I guess. As I know my luck, the first draw, I am toast. And because it was vent chamber here, we are not going to resolve a crisis card. The problem now is, we still have to find the cat. And the cat is most likely on A deck. Not only on A deck, but from what I understood or from what I've seen, I'm pretty sure I saw the cat also appearing in the B deck. But I think the probability is much higher on A deck. So the next time I'm already moving out of A into B actually. I'm not so sure if I should do that. I could always move back, for example. If I don't find anything useful there, I can always go back. Okay, that's pretty much it for the round. Yeah, we are not resolving any crisis card. Only thing left to do is to move the self-destruct marker away one space ahead. Then let's move into the next round. But before we do, one thing that I nearly forgot: whenever you're moving into one of those rooms with those kill tokens, you also have to advance the Lifeform one space ahead. So right now we are still doing okay. Problem is I don't have any flamethrower cards. So right now it seems to be still far away, but it's moving like hell later on. So sooner or later we really need a flamethrower in order to push it back. Next round, yeah, let's collect the mission token here, and again we will place it onto the improved weaponry here. So we have already satisfied this first column here, the improved weaponry. That's what we need, the minimum. Everything else beyond that red line is a bonus. So when we place one here, we get to draw a card during the final showdown. And here 2 cards, 3 cards. And here we get an extra flamethrower immediately. This one that's lying next here. So overall, getting more tokens is important. But of course, first of all, you should really start filling up those other tracks. Then let's draw our cards. Okay, that's a mainframe computer. So this action pretty much allows us to play one mission token into this room here, which is kind of nice actually. The problem is if we do, we will also advance the creature, the life form. And I'm not so sure if I will be moving back here actually. So not sure if that's the most useful card, but we can still use it to move. For our action, it's kind of a waste. This is really a great card because we need both of those symbols here for responding to crisis cards, but I want this mission token. So I will go for this symbol here, the research one, which either allows me to grab one mission token or remove one of those terror tokens from an adjacent room. And this is also great, but I really want this token actually. Yeah, let's go for this token. Yeah, let's go for it. So let's grab it, and then let's start completing those things. I think I will go in here because here is a special effect which lets us move power outage token to an adjacent room, which is always a nice thing. And yeah, I think that's a good idea. Then it's already the end of the round. You see the game is really fast paced actually, which I like. Of course, there is some thinking time in between, but I don't want to bore you too much with me thinking about my options. We don't have any mission tokens, so let's draw our card. Again, that's a nice one. Pretty much the same as here, and I think this time I want to use it actually. I think that's not bad. Yeah, let's play this card for this row. So we get to move, and we can use this data download action or whatever it is. And we can do that in any order. But of course, let's move first. And of course, the idea is to move here into the mining equipment stuff. So we will basically take this token, I believe, or should we dodge it? We have to draw a crisis card anyway, because you put this onto your fear track. Again, something which makes you lose the game. And then you have to draw a crisis card. But we have to draw a crisis card anyway. So I think, yeah, let's not dodge it. Let's put it onto our fear track, and then let's resolve our card. And in this case, we already start drawing from the B deck. That was quick. But one drawback is when placing this way or playing the crisis card this way, you have to resolve it immediately. Otherwise, I would have been able to complete my actions. I'm not sure if this was a good idea, but let's see. Something up ahead is making sinister noises. The sound sends unholy crawling things down your back. You've never heard anything like it, and pray to never hear it again. Choose one option. So we can play a security door, which we don't have, and even then we have to move the cocoon marker one step ahead. So that's already the best option, I believe. Jab at the wall panel control switch, hoping to flush the creature from its hiding place with toxic gas, which we don't have. I think this is the most powerful one. Problem is we don't have this token yet. That's bad, so we cannot choose this option, and this either. On the other hand, we may want to go with one of our trade tokens, so let's not be too quick. We can hesitate again. Then the creature will move 2 spaces ahead. Maybe not the worst thing in the world, actually. But in addition, you find are now exhausted. You find are now exhausted. Okay. You can no longer use run actions or run things. Stays in play. Okay, that's really terrible. Okay, that's really, really bad. So I'd rather... We cannot use this one here. We can. In fact, we can. We can also go for this one, because we can use one of our trade tokens from our board to meet the requirements of any one icon on those crisis cards. I believe here we don't have to go with matching... deck. Normally you can only do that whatever you can take a trade token from the B deck here, and here from an A deck, and here from the C deck. But I think in response to one of those crisis cards, you can also... I could also go for the A deck. Right now we are not no longer on A deck, so could be still something to think about. But additionally we also have to discard a card here. And not sure. But I think let's go with it. Yeah, let's go with this token here. We will flip it to the other side, and hey, we have 5 green icons we have to fight at the end of the game if we're facing the creature here. So we will place this next to the Remora, so we are really in bad shape already. But we have met basically the requirements, so we can proceed. And proceeding means we have still one more action, which is this data download icon here. Luckily, we are in a room where this is allowed. Hooray! Which means we can take any one of those data tokens and put this onto our objective board. So we have fulfilled one of our main objectives already. We want to hold on to this because I know for a fact that we need it. We also want to hold on to purple, so it's either green or yellow. We already have a green token here. So I think let's go for the yellow one here, which we can place onto this board here, which means, hey, we have basically 1/3 throughout our object. Of course, we still have to prepare the Remora before taking off, but at least we have made some progress here. End of round, the clock is ticking. We have hit one of those terror symbols, which means we have to place another one, which we have to place onto the android route here. Pretty much those dotted corridors here shows us where the android will move. When he awakes, his movement will be to the Remora in order to do as much damage as he can. And as this space already has one, we go to the next empty one, so we have to place this terror token here. Apart from that, nothing else will happen. I think let's do one more turn this episode. We are in a room with a mission token, so yeah, let's pick it up and place it accordingly. Let's stick to the energy cells for now. Or should we? Because I know for a fact there are also cards that will ask for a spacesuit. No, let's go a little bit broader now, so that we have all the resources available to us in case we have to respond to one of those crisis cards here. Then let's draw a card, another run card. Run cards are really good actually, because sometimes you really want to run and you only have to suffer the consequences of, I don't know, a vent chamber, for example. I believe in rooms where you really end your movements. Overall, definitely a good thing. Terror tokens, you always have to stop. Here is a nice camping room actually, because there are a lot of tokens, but of course we also have a lot of those kill tokens. So in order to move there, yeah, I think we have to go in here, we have to go in here, and I think then, yeah, we may be able to move out of there. So we will definitely draw 2 more of those, and this will also advance the creature 1 more space. On the other hand, I could really move down and take it from there actually. Then I can start moving, and I think I need to start moving. I need some of those crisis cards in order to fulfill my objectives. I have to find the cat after all, so I cannot stay 6 rounds in these rooms without any, in this chamber, without any crisis card, though we will not be able to find the cat. So yeah, I think let's better, yeah, why not? Let's move in here. That's pretty much an empty room. So I guess I will go for this card. It has only a green defense icon. It lets me move 1 space. Let's do that. Of course, we are still on B deck here. We entered a standard room, which means we have to draw another crisis card from the B deck, which says, you hear a distant scream, you recognize the voice. There are no more screams after the first. Composing yourself, you notice that you are near a repair station. Choose one option. Open an access panel and download Vital Minecorp data files. That's pretty much this one here. We have the symbol. This would give us basically one of those tokens. And if we already have this objective, I could go for one of those, what is it, survival tokens, which I can spend to, I don't know, push the creature array. So always not a bad thing. We have the card. Then we can press close all bulkheads around or synthesis on the touchscreen. Use an energy cell token. We have energy cell mission token, but this will also move the cocoon track and the creature 1 step ahead. And again, we can hesitate, which makes us lose 1 nerve, and the creature will move twice actually. So I think in this case, no. We have the card and we already have the thing here, which means, yeah, let's go for it. So let's spend this symbol here. We can also use it as a reaction in this case. And I can basically get to choose the token I'm getting. Here I'm not so sure. Normally, if you already have an objective, which you have, you basically can choose to get this survival token, but because there are still data tokens available, I think I need to go with a data token actually. So I think in this case, yeah, why not? Let's go with a green one, and we can then really spend this in our final showdown in order to defend from the creature and push it out the airlock, more or less. Okay, that was our card. Again, keep me honest here. If I would have been allowed to go for one of those survival tokens instead, then maybe I would prefer this. But yeah, I think I will stop after this round anyway, so leaving you some room in order to make me aware of any rule scoofs or maybe strategic errors I'm already doing. And then last thing to do, move the countdown, the self-destruct marker down to 25, which would be the 2-player starting point. By the way, 2 players is really 1 player playing 2 characters against another player who then will play the Lifeform. And I guess I will stop my playthrough here, at least for today. I'm pretty sure I'm playing very poorly here, so please help me out. Give me some strategic advice. What should I be doing next? Where should I move? What's your feeling? And definitely make me aware of any rules I'm not doing or playing correctly here. Really want to make sure that I'm doing this correct at least. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed my very first episode of Lifeform here. If you like the video, please like and subscribe to my channel, like the video. And yeah, if you want, check out my page on Patreon. Always appreciate your support. And yeah, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.